Guys and a mic. It's Mark. Finally back.
I'm back.
Missed you, buddy.
Got a lot of stories. We got a lot to go over, Jim.
We were just talking before we started the show about Seinfeld, and the episodes are so classic, especially with Frank Costanza, who was played by the late Jerry Stiller. So good, so good.
Well, that's because I said I got a lot of problems. I got a lot of problems with you people. I got issues with everyone since I've been away the last couple of weeks. I'm fighting with everyone.
Now you're going to hear about them.
Oh, you're going to hear about them. But before we go into that, we should talk about everything else. You had a nice thing with Rob Morris. I saw that.
I did.
Really interesting.
Yeah, it was cool to hang out with Rob. We play golf often. We're good friends, and it was cool to get his background and perspective and why he went to work for the New York Jets just so he could listen to New York radio.
I heard that. It was pretty cool.
But he's legendary from the years at KDWB in Minneapolis. Yep. And then he also worked
I remember
in
his name because I remember the top 40 guys used to be talking about KDWB and, of course, famous Charlie Foster, who maybe one day we'll talk about.
Oh, yeah.
We may have to have an extended version with Charlie, but he was our local Minneapolis, and he was very friendly with Rob. And Charlie used to shovel snow for Gary Nolan, the PD at LTE. And so that's one way to get ads. He'd shovel snow because it snowed all the time in Minneapolis.
I think Rob told me Charlie picked him up at the airport or something when he first came into town, something like that.
Full service promotion guy.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy, it's Charlie.
I give it to anybody who can live in Minneapolis for 20-something years in that weather. Oof.
I don't know, but I told you I was in Chicago once, and we literally had a dinner, and we had to cross the street to go to a hotel, and I had never, coming from New York, we know cold, but I never felt that kind of cold in my life in Chicago. Yeah. It was like we were literally had no clothes on. It was that cold.
I found out not long ago. I found out not long ago why it got the name Windy City. Did you know? Can you tell me why?
Because the wind comes over.
No. It has nothing to actually do with the wind, which is pretty brutal there, but it's not that. It got nicknamed the Windy City because of politics and politicians blowing a lot of hot air.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
so that's how it got the name. Although the weather does actually, it does get very windy there.
Man, it's pretty incredible. I mean, parts of it are like, a smaller New York. They have the Fifth Avenue and the stores and stuff. But I hear the outer regions, I guess, similar to New York, you may not want to drive through. I hear can be pretty rough. But
parts of it, yeah. But Michigan Avenue is like Fifth Avenue.
It's beautiful.
So, yeah.
Plus, I think they do have a Fifth Avenue there.
Anyway, a lot of stuff since we last got together and chatted, and I started thinking, so many weird and wacky things go on. So I'm going to bring up these stories and I'm going to tell Mark about them and see his reaction to some of this stuff going on. I got a bunch of them here. I don't know if
I've got some too recently, what's been going on in this world. The whole world, it all went to shit when you and I weren't recording for a couple of weeks. Everything's cracking up. Everything.
So let's go to Albany, New York first for a local news co-anchor by the name of Olivia Jacques. I think I'm saying that right. She went ahead with a 3-hour morning newscast, even though her labor contractions had already started. So it was like she was having the baby on live TV. Her water broke, and she kept keeping the viewers updated about the coming birth of her first baby on live television for CBS in Albany. That's a ratings winner right there, right?
Wow. Now, how did they work the camera work? I mean, the baby's coming. Baby's coming.
She kept saying, I'm happy to be here. I'll stay at the desk as long as I possibly can. But if I disappear, that's what's going on. And then her baby boy, Quincy, was born later that day. So
well, if you dig a little deeper, they actually had footage of her actually preparing to make the baby.
Maybe you had to... Maybe there's a streaming only version.
That was a different broadcast of the making of the baby.
That's behind the paywall.
Oof.
How about this? A place in China. How you want this for a what do you want to call it? A getaway holiday? There is a place where you can sleep on the side of a cliff 350 feet above the ground.
I think I saw that. I saw pictures of that. Yeah.
And people actually pay to do this. They can't go out there unless they've got a safety harness hooked up. I mean, safety harness or not, if you roll over in bed, that's going to be terrifying. Absolutely terrifying.
Well, I don't know if you watch enough of the news or the world news, but you always hear about these people that are camping, they're hiking, they're on something, and I read one down here about an 80-year-old man and his dog. They were hiking, and it's something he used to like to do. This dude's going into the Everglades or something. Him and the dog both got eaten by a bear.
Oh,
By a
wow.
bear.
Well, what do you expect? It's the Everglades.
I'm thinking, I'm sitting on the couch watching TV. There's no bear coming into my living room. Okay.
There are
Why are
there
you
are
going into
bears
the
here.
woods?
There
I
are
know.
bears here.
Apparently
Yeah.
he found it.
Yeah, he found it. He did. Anyway, people are actually paying a lot of money to actually go do this, hang off the side of a cliff, but you can't be shorter than 4'6".
Whoa.
So if you're
You
shorter than 4'6", no go for you.
so, so if you roll over and you sleep or something, you get up to pee or something, you're going right over the cliff.
Well, you wouldn't catch me doing it. That's for sure.
Oh.
That's not my idea of vacation.
Well, this is what I was saying. I mean, that guy was in the woods. He's doing a hike. This other guy is ice skating. This guy's climbing mountains.
I
You're
mean,
looking for trouble. You're
heights
looking for
don't bother
trouble.
me, but that would bother me because I'm sleeping, and
But you're looking
you'd
for
forget
trouble.
about it. Like you said, you get up to go pee and forget you're in a bed
Yeah.
that's 350 feet off the ground.
Well, not only will you be peeing, but you'll be pooping on the way down. Yikes.
Yes, you will. How about this? You remember this line?
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Oh,
What is that from?
where we go? Is that Blues Brothers?
No, 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 no. That was Doc Brown in Back to the Future.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Anyway, 40 years now from the film, and can you believe it? There's still about 303 DeLorean cars left on the roads in Britain.
Hmm,
People still driving those things there,
it's pretty cool.
and that's a company that didn't last long after the movie. I mean, they only made a couple thousand of those things,
Wow.
and then they went out of business, even though it had all that publicity. Interesting. Let's see. What do I got next? Oh, you saw how about this? The Indianapolis Motor Speedway last week. They had the Indianapolis 500.
I heard I got a viewership of 7 million, which they thought was a lot. And I was speaking to somebody who said back in the old days, like when you had the finale of MASH or something like that, they were getting like 30 million or whatever the numbers were. And they're
Yeah,
making a
because there
big
was
deal about
nothing
7 million.
else. Yeah, there was
Exactly.
nothing else. But I don't know if there was 7 million eyeballs on the Wienermobile race that took place before the other one. They had
Now that's
six
important.
of the Oscar Mayer Wienermobiles racing around the track.
Okay. And
Yeah.
what happened? The biggest one won?
No, it didn't say that, but the winner did it by about a half a bun margin.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So,
Now, I think I had heard, was there an accident in the pit? Did somebody catch on fire or something?
oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, I thought I heard about that.
Oh, I didn't hear that one. Missed on that one. We
Yeah, I
had the
hope that's not
American
true.
Music Awards on Monday night. Billie
Oh, that's
Eilish
on my
basically won
list.
everything. We'll get
I,
to that then.
I,
Okay,
I
we'll
got a
get to
lot to
that.
talk about on that too.
All right, how
Yeah,
about this
I
one?
saw Billy won everything. That was cool.
Southwest Airlines ended their bags for free
Right.
thing.
Now they're going to charge you.
Yep, it actually started yesterday, where you don't get free bags unless you're a Rapid Rewards A-list preferred member or traveling in business select fares. You will have to start paying for your bags. So there goes that ad campaign. The first check bag, by the way, will be $35 and then
Right.
45 for the
45.
additional.
Yeah, but they also announced that for the first time in history, Southwest will have brakes on their planes. So I think it's important. They will be able to actually land these things.
Or
Southwest.
they'll actually be on the right runway and not the taxiway. I
Ay,
think there
ay,
was one
ay.
of them that did that too. Interesting. I only flew Southwest once and I was very nervous about doing it because we were taking the kids down to Disney, and we left out of Philadelphia. And they don't have that. You don't get an assigned seat. You get an
Right, you get a
assigned boarding
number.
group. So then you go on and take whatever seat you want. I'm like,
It's a free for all.
I could get on this plane and then my granddaughter's got to sit between
Yep.
who? And
You
I
don't
was
know.
like,
Yep. You have to
um,
fight people for seats.
but I actually talked to them beforehand and they said, we won't split families up. We'll put families together. They're not going to do that. I'm not letting she was like 7 at the time. I'm not putting her in between two other people I don't know.
Well, actually, the pilot does get on and say, I feel lucky today. So, I mean, that's the way he greets the passengers. Hey, punks, you feel lucky today? You're paying $3 a ticket. So let's hope we make it.
All right, here we go. A couple more stories and then we'll get to some of yours. Kelly Ripa actually announced on the show live with the special guest Amanda Peet that now that she and her husband Mark, the co-host, are empty nesters,
Right.
it is basically naked town at their house.
Wow.
Yeah, she actually said we can do whatever we want anytime. It's a total freak show. The daytime star also added that Mark smiled wide when the audience was laughing about this.
Hmm.
And they're very happy that their kids are all out and they can just go around in their birthday suits.
Well, my kids have been out of the house. None of that's gone on in this house. Okay? But I'll suggest that maybe we should try being buck ass naked and see how things go.
Put that on the next Wednesday agenda.
Things to do. Hold on, I'll write that down.
Olympic gymnastics champion Mary Lou Retton. Did you hear about this? She got
Yeah,
caught with a
drinking, yeah.
DUI
Yep.
in, let's see, West Virginia. It was earlier this month. She's 57 now. She was charged with driving under the influence of alcohol-controlled substances or drugs. Didn't say exactly. May 17th, police responded to reports someone was driving the Porsche erratically. That's probably how
Wow.
it went out over the air too on their radios. Anyway, they did notice a container of wine in the passenger seat of her car, and she refused to take a breath test. You know.
And she still had a box of Wheaties in the car when she was actually on the cover of Wheaties back then. Remember?
Well, she won 5 Olympic gold medals in the LA Olympics, 1984. Yeah.
I guess that's why you can drive a Porsche.
And after the career gymnastics ended, she remained active in the media, did a number of TV and film stuff. And anyway, interesting. And one more thing I will do, and then it's yours. There's a little piece of Hollywood that's out and available now. And I know you're going to be very interested in this, Mark. Jennifer Grey's pink dance briefs from Dirty Dancing are on the auction block.
Well, I thought you were going to say her old face because she
No,
hasn't worked
the-
on since the movie.
The pink ones that she wore, they're size medium, 12 to 14. The one she wore in the practice scenes on that film Dirty Dancing, and it is up for auction right now at Prop Store. And the auction is live and the bidding ends June 11th. So save up your pennies and maybe you can get a piece of Hollywood memorabilia.
Well, I still have a sore point with that movie because Patrick Swayze, She's Like the Wind, kept expose out of number 1. When
Oh,
I
you're
was
holding a
working.
grudge.
Seasons
Holding a
change.
grudge.
Seasons change, and we could not go number 1 because She's Like the Wind, I believe, on the AC chart for like forever.
Yeah.
And we could not knock them out.
Well, it's a massive movie.
Yeah.
You know, I was dating a girl at the time that saw it like 15 times. Just
Well,
obsessed.
Well, they like Patrick Swayze. And I've always heard he was a really nice guy, too. It's a shame.
Yeah, and too bad he passed
Yeah,
earlier.
I know.
Too
Terrible.
early, actually.
Yeah.
What's on your list, my friend?
Well, we got different fields we could go into. I'm going to start with the sports field.
Oh, okay.
Now, obviously, we're all about baseball, you and I with the Mets. They're good, they're bad, whatever. But I started to figure there's nothing else really to watch. I wasn't going to watch the hockey. So I tried to watch basketball. I really tried.
Ugh.
So I'm going to say the obvious. First of all, if you got that much free time that you can watch a game go 2-2, 4-4, it should be a 2-minute game, 98-98, you got 2 minutes. That's the way the game should play. Because then everything else is a foul, a foul, a foul, a foul. And to make the game more interesting, we electrify the hoop. So the next time they dunk, they get a little shock. Why does everyone have to hang on to the hoop?
Oh, but it's just the thing. The fans love it.
Not
I
if it's
don't know.
electrified. If it's electrified,
No.
you hit it. But the coach can control it. The coach controls the button, okay?
Oh, okay.
Then he zaps them. So maybe like you get 3 zaps a game or something.
So this is
I'm talking about
basically
entertaining the game more.
this
Yeah.
is like a reality show now.
It'd be fun because 98-98, it's anyone's game. And now you got a little excitement. If they go to dunk, you zap one of them.
I don't
think it's
know
fun.
how our former guest and friend Dave Duke Sholin would think. He's a big NBA fan. I can't watch it. I mean,
all that
because
time. I can't. It's
you
wasted
can
time.
turn it on in the fourth quarter and
There
you're
you go.
fine,
I'm giving you $1 million idea.
And how can you not
Save all
want to
the
watch
time.
the hockey now that we live in Florida? The Panthers are back in the finals.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
And it's going to be a repeat. I think it's going to be a
Edmonton.
repeat of last year because Edmonton's up, and Dallas would have to make a miraculous comeback here.
Maybe
So-
I'll have a suggestion on how to fix hockey too. Maybe we skate with one skate. What do you think?
Oh well, at least hockey. I mean,
This is
hockey
action.
can turn on a dime. There's action.
Yep.
And the other thing that gets me about pro basketball, I know they're taking more than 2 steps, which used to be called traveling.
Right.
And that was a turnover. And some of these guys are taking 3 or 4 steps. or at least it
Well,
seems that
listen,
way.
there are a lot of people that are very passionate about basketball, and I get it,
Yeah.
but I just think I don't know. I can't, I mean, you can say anything about baseball, football, and stuff, but I mean, it just goes on and on. 2-2, 4-2, and then I mean, when I've checked in, then the Knicks are down by 10. I shut it off, and then I find out they win by 2. So it's
Yeah.
like, wow, it's
Because
pretty incredible.
the last 2 minutes of any basketball game can take a half hour
What the
with
fouls,
the time and the fouls and yeah,
fouls, and
yeah,
well, I guess they
yeah.
fill in all the commercials then.
What else is going on?
Well, I'm out there yesterday in the heat of Florida, as you know. I'm
Hmm.
walking the dogs. I see a guy, he's knocking on doors. And I know eventually he's going to make his way down to my house and knock on my door. I don't know what he's selling. I don't know what he's asking. So I come in, feed the dogs, and I know this guy's going to ring the bell. And I'm thinking, because I figured, he's kind of a young kid. I was going to say, before you rang the bell, did you step over the sign that says no soliciting? I mean, I don't know. Why did I have a sign out there that says no soliciting if obviously you're coming to solicit? I was going to
I
say, did you
can't
not see the
read.
sign? I felt bad, but it was like, Marion said, don't be rude. But it was like, I don't know why I bother. And I
What
felt
was he
bad because
selling?
he was giving you a third off of window washing.
Oh
I said,
wow.
I'm not worried about. Can you wash the no soliciting sign? Because apparently people aren't seeing it. So that was my pet peeve with that as well.
Can you make sure the windows don't blow in the next time we get a hurricane? You know.
Unbelievable. And now here's another one. Now I hope we don't get letters about this, but I'd be happy if we got one letter, but we're having an issue with Verizon, right? So
Oh boy.
we're getting jerked around with all these different departments. Okay, that's a story for another day. But do they think we're stupid? No offense. They're very nice people, but it's being outsourced to India. And the dude that he answers the phone, his name is Michael.
Yeah.
Why you think I'm stupid? Your name should be Babu because I know you're not Michael. Okay? It's unbelievable.
You
And then the
don't know
best
that. He
thing,
could be Michael. Come on.
eh, he's not Michael. Anyway, then they ask you for your phone number because if we get disconnected, we're going to call you back.
Oh
They're
yeah.
not calling you back. Just like
No.
when you go in a store and they don't have the size, and the guy says, I'll go look in the back. He's not looking in the back. He's taking
No.
a cigarette break. The
Yeah.
same thing with this dude. Yeah, we'll call you back. Then they're not calling you back.
We were
But
just at Verizon yesterday for the cell phones. Had to get those updated. What a nightmare that is, too.
I was going to go to free upgrade by the end of the month, but then I said, I bet you I'm going to have to transfer all my apps over, then all my new passwords. Then they get you for a new case. Then they get you for the glass. Then you got to get all new cords, right? So this
Yep.
free upgrade is going to cost me $250.
I'm telling you right, yeah, because the new now they use
Right, the
the
cords. Yep.
USB-C. They
Yep.
don't have the little lightning thing anymore. Now they've supposedly made all the chargers between
All the
Android
same.
and all the same. Okay, so that and then you have to get a screen protector. Then you got to get a
So you
case.
did it.
And you got oh
I
yeah,
had an
did the whole
appointment. I
thing.
didn't do it. I didn't do it.
And they actually even offered iPads, all new brand new iPads for like 10 bucks or something, you
How
know.
long did it take them to put the stuff from the cloud back on the new phone
It
and all
didn't
that?
really, but you know what the problem is? It's not the backup and or transferring the stuff from one to the other. It's all these things have two-factor authentication
Oh,
and a different way of proving it's you, so you can get in, and then you need to get a text, but you're not. I mean, it was going back and forth, and
see, I can't do this.
it was well. We got it all finally straightened out
How long
actually
did it take
today.
you? An hour, 2 hours?
No, we were there yesterday. We were there probably a
See,
little over 2 hours, and
see,
then we were
that's why I
back there
said
today for about almost an hour.
I'll keep my old phone. It's not worth the aggravation. It's
You
not
know,
worth it. I mean, I know I could use a new one only because they changed the models and stuff, but not to go through that
I
aggravation.
really think though they start after a certain period of time, the phones don't do what they start acting
Well, yeah, they
wonky.
time them out. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
they
Well, I guess
definitely
we
do.
all have to do it eventually, but I was not going to go for it yesterday.
Yeah,
After I had the problem with Verizon online, I certainly don't want to go into a Verizon store, but it was
and eventually, they're not going to support your number anymore, right? So if you got an iPhone 13, now it's going to iPhone 16 or whatever it is. There might be another couple of years that your phone will work, and after that, basically it won't work because Apple won't support that number
yeah, yeah,
anymore.
yeah. Yeah, so that's how they get you. So I guess
Yeah.
sooner or later we have to do that.
Yeah, good luck with that. What
I
else is
know.
going on? Anything?
Also want to know how the word anyways became the word. No one says anyway. Everyone says anyways. That bothers me.
Yeah,
Everyone
it's a
says
plural.
anyways.
Should never be
Anyways.
plural.
No, that's another pet peeve. I got a
Oh,
lot
you
of
wanted to talk American Music Awards here, right?
Well, did you see? I was wondering why J-Lo was all over the show. Then I realized she's the producer. So basically, I'm going to try to produce the show so I could do everything.
She
She
took
was the
over.
producer.
Wasn't it used to be Dick Clark?
Yep.
Did that?
I said
Yeah.
he must be turning in his grave. Did you see the part where she was making out with the chick and then the guy?
No.
Oh, that was the big opening scene.
I did not. I mean, it was Monday Memorial Day. I'm not big on these award shows anyway, so I didn't tune it in. I did see the next day that Billie Eilish walked away with everything.
Yep. And Gracie Abrams won Best New Artist, and then they had a nice thing with Rod Stewart, which was cool.
But that was cool. But they got to the country thing, and again, it was Beyonce and Post Malone. They're not country artists. So
well, I was just, I guess you can never get enough of J-Lo. But I was thinking this is probably why Ben was drinking. She probably drove him nuts. She's a nut job. I'm sure she is. And
Did
boy,
you see?
Oh boy, the cleavage everywhere. Yikes.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of cleavage on it. It should be the Cleavage Music Awards.
The Cleavage Music Awards?
Yeah, that's all they showed with her. And then some of these other
Brought to you by
artists.
Playtex.
And I have to tell you, you and I are in the business, but some of these artists, I didn't know who they are. I guess we're not totally plugged in.
Oh, you didn't know from what genre didn't you know?
There was a blonde artist that looked like Britney Spears, and I don't know her name, but she was gyrating all over the place.
It wasn't Sabrina Carpenter, was it?
No, Sabrina, I know. I'm not that unhip, but there was somebody.
Okay.
I don't know what her name was. Maybe one of our Korean fans will write me a note and tell me.
Oh, maybe it was that girl Lisa in the new from Blackpink, who's in the new Maroon 5 video.
I don't know. I think she had a real first and second name, so I don't know.
Okay.
I want to say
Like I said, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
I'm still here. Anyways.
It was good to see Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. That song is so good. They won.
Yep.
And Billie Eilish. I'm a big fan of Billie. Bruno also won favorite male artist. What else? That's really the highlights. Her album, Billie's album, Hit Me Hard and Soft, is really good. If you dig into
she's talented. I think she was not there to accept it, but she videoed a nice little message and she looked great.
Oh, here you go. Here's a good story for you. Penguins could be, mind you, playing a crucial role in stabilizing the climate in Antarctica when they go number 2, according to new research. The ammonia in penguin poop, or guano, as they call it, could help reduce the impacts of climate change by contributing to increased cloud formation. How about that?
How does that work?
I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but maybe we can bring them here to the U.S. and get the same deal. If it works in Antarctica, why not?
Wow. Okay. Well, there you go.
About, right?
We got something to look forward to. That's interesting.
And in Germany, a dentist has now been ordered to pay a patient almost $8,000 in compensation after he got her drunk so he could do 14 root canal treatments in one day.
Ay. Imagine when she woke up, how much pain she must have been in.
Oh, the dentist gave the woman large glasses of cognac in between drillings, telling her it would take the pain away. Oh,
whoa.
He should lose his license easily.
Now, do you remember Marathon Man with Dustin Hoffman with the dentist scene?
No, I don't.
Yeah, you probably.
I don't think I ever saw. No, I know the movie. I just never saw the whole movie.
I forget the actor. He's very famous, but he was trying to get information out of Dustin Hoffman, and he didn't know because I believe from what I remember, I think it was early 70s. I was a young lad, but he didn't know, and he's drilling his teeth without Novocaine to get the information out of him. I remember that scene as a kid and saying, "Yikes!" Imagine that.
No, I went yesterday. I had to have my annual eye test yesterday, so I can get updated glasses. And when they do that, they put the drops in your eyes to dilate your eyes. Then they shine that bright light.
And
they
you
have
can't
you look.
see.
I'm like, God, you talk about torturing somebody. It was like,
that's funny
because your eye wants to close.
I had to take my mother to the eye doctor last Tuesday, and he dilated her eyes, and he was shining the light, and she was screaming at him. And the both of them didn't get along because she wasn't taking that at 95, and she was like insinuating he didn't know what he was doing and why are you hurting me? But yeah, that bright light's a bummer, man. He said, I have to see what's behind your eye. And she said, "Are you done yet? Are you done yet? No, if you stop playing, yeah, let me do it." but it
Good
it
news
was
is that
crazy.
the doctor said, because it was funny how doctors, the optometrist is like, the eyes can tell a lot about your overall health. So at the end, he was like, well, good to know you have no glaucoma, you got no bad pressure, you have no
Good.
problem like risk of stroke or diabetes or any of that, which they can see in the eyes. Because he said a
Sure.
couple of weeks ago, he had a woman in there who was actually having a stroke while getting her eye exam. And they
Well,
sent
that's
her
what they were afraid
immediately.
about my mother because she woke up and she had blurred vision, and he
Yeah.
said it was not an optical problem; it was blood pressure,
Mm.
and that you could stroke out. And
Yeah. Yeah.
obviously behind your eyes, you've got brain, or some of us have a brain behind there, but
Yeah, and your
that
mom's 95, so that's, already,
so he
you
was
know.
saying that the next time you have those issues with your eyes, you need to go to the ER, and she's like, "I'm not going to the ER." Whatever, but it was wild.
Here we go to Miami. Flamingos, pelicans, herons, and parrots are just a few of the wild birds that call Miami home. But now roosters, hens, and baby chicks are taking over in recent years, not only in residential neighborhoods like Little Havana, Little Haiti, or Wynwood. Now they're at government buildings and high rises downtown. So they're spreading into where the peacocks are a problem in the neighborhoods like Coconut Grove and Coral Gables. There's big money in those neighborhoods.
Wow.
And the peacocks have very bad tempers, so maybe
Hmm.
it'll be a face-off, you know.
You don't want to piss off a peacock. I heard that once before.
Right. But the roosters would drive me nuts. I know when you go to Key West, you can't get any
Right.
sleep in the morning because these
No.
things, it's like, ugh, yeah, no, thank you.
Well,
That's all I got. Well, I do have one other thing. You ever watch that show Hacks with
no.
Gene Smart?
I hear it's good though.
Yeah, you should watch it. It's really good. I'm into season 3. They've just been renewed for a 5th season.
Hmm.
So I got half of season 3 done. I got all of season 4, and then obviously we'll wait on season 5. It stars Gene Smart and Hannah Einbender, and it's pretty good. It's about a comedian similar to, think, Joan Rivers
Oh,
type of
interesting. Okay.
comedy, and
Right.
how her comedy is offensive to today's audiences.
Hmm.
But it's about her trying to, make it in the comedy world as a female comic like Joan Rivers and the whole boys club and that whole thing. But it's very well written, very well done, and I highly recommend you try it out. So
Well,
there
we're
you go.
getting excited for the premiere of The Bear, the new season of The
Oh
Bear.
yeah,
So
when's that coming in?
I have it on my thing somewhere. I think
Sometime
it's
in June, right?
yeah, I think first couple days in June, and
And
that's
then Only
good.
Murders in the Building is back later in the
We
summer.
started to watch that, but she couldn't get into it, so we stopped. I thought it was good, but she didn't like it.
You got to, because that's the one my cousin Chris is
Right.
the
He was
coordinator
one of
on.
our guests. And
I
speaking of
actually have
our,
to I have to send you the video of because when I was up there in March to see my aunt who was not doing well, he was talking with me about the first stunt that they were going to do for the new
oh
season,
yeah,
and it
cool.
involved a dry cleaner and that conveyor belt of
Oh
stuff that goes
yeah.
around and a body hanging on that. Then he showed me the video of his son actually being the body.
And that thing could support the weight?
Well, he had to rig it so it could.
Yeah,
Yeah,
interesting.
he had to
Huh.
rig it so he could.
Well, what I was going to say is, speaking of our guests, we should make a note that our boy Johnny Resnick sang at Demi Lovato's wedding. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that.
I wonder how much she charges because I had a 4th of July party coming up here, maybe. But of all things, she made him sing Iris. Does that ring to you like a wedding song?
Um, it is a it's a love song from that
It's a
movie
great
City of
song. I love it.
Angels.
Yeah.
So,
So
it
that
is
was
a great
interesting.
song.
Yeah. So
Isn't that the one that has the lyric, so you bleed just to know that you're alive?
Scars, yeah. I
Yeah.
remember I was reading him some of the lyrics when he
No,
was on our
Scars of
show.
Souvenirs is from the song
Right,
name.
Scar, right, exactly,
Yeah.
name, right. But yeah, I mean he wrote great lyrics, but and then he did something else recently. We saw him on TV. I forgot the other thing that he did recently. So they do the podcast, their careers explode. I saw Rick Springfield just announced a bunch of summer dates. He was at the Clearwater Airport near you. He did a little thing
Clearwater
there.
Airport's
Yeah.
closer to you than me.
Oh, I guess so. Well, I guess he was somewhere. Oh, that's right. You're further south.
I'm
But
further
yeah,
south.
he posted a picture. He was kicking off the summer tour. And our boy Dave Koz kicked off his summer tour. And Peter Sincotti just put a single out called Savannah. So everybody we
Wow.
have, there's stuff cooking everywhere.
Get the royalties to kick in and maybe we get a little taste.
Yeah, well, we are up to 256 subscribers, so we're only 990,000 left.
So this guy in Oregon quit his job at a tire company, liquidated everything in his retirement savings, bought a boat, and set sail for Hawaii. And he
Okay.
actually made it. Took him about a week. He had a whole mess of followers on social media. Not mayor, the actual governor of Hawaii showed up at the Waikiki Yacht Club to acknowledge the really, the thing that he did, that he sailed across, from Oregon by himself, basically himself and his dog.
Oh, I
Um,
think I saw that. Yeah.
yeah. He became an online sensation with the story following a diagnosis 4 years ago with a syndrome that carried a risk of paralysis, and it made him realize he didn't really like his job, so he quit it. And with no money, no plan, and $10,000 of debt, he made it a goal to buy a sailboat and sail around the world, and he's done the first part of it. So
How do you get the money?
I guess he liquidated his retirement fund.
Oh, okay. That's what, so
Yeah,
okay.
that's what he
Well,
did.
there you go. So I guess he'll be planning to spend his later years on the boat because that'll be the only thing he owns.
A
Yikes.
Swiss woman is such a fan of Red Bull. I can't stand that stuff. I tried it once. It was like, ugh.
Yeah, it's like drinking a
Um,
red crayon.
yeah, she reportedly got the energy drink barcode from a can tattooed on her skin.
Why?
And it amazingly works at a self checkout. There's a video of her on TikTok using the functional body part to actually pay for a discount for her Red Bull. It has 7.9 million views on TikTok. Here's the problem with that. Eventually, the company's going to change the barcode for a different promotion, and it's not going to work anymore, and you're going to be stuck with this tattoo.
You'll be stuck with a barcode for a tattoo, period.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But
Wow.
people, look at the stuff that gets you 8 million views on TikTok.
We got to come up with something. We need at least 1 million
I'm not
views.
getting anything tattooed, my
Right
friend.
across your forehead, like Mike Tyson did. You could do it. Come on.
Or Teddy
Come on.
swims with the eyelids. I
Yeah.
asked him about that.
Yikes.
I'm like, dude, how did you do that? That had to hurt. He goes, oh, it really did.
Why?
I
That's
don't
what I
know.
want to know is
Because
why.
the only time someone's going to see it is when you close your eyes.
So when you're dead, that's what
Yeah.
I would type. I'm dead. So when I'm done, I'm dead.
I'm dead.
In case you're not sure, it's written on my head. Okay. Right there. I'm dead. That's what you got to do. But listen, you were talking about nice, expensive areas earlier with the peacocks and the roosters. And
Yeah.
I certainly don't live in Coconut Grove, but I've noticed this is going to be another thing that bothers me.
Sarasota's no joke, man. You're okay.
No, we've got golf carts,
Yeah.
we got electric bikes,
Yes.
and electric scooters. Now, I need to know which one do I get the most points for hitting? Because they're all over the streets. I'm going to hit one of them. It's a matter of which one I'm going to hit. And
Well,
what
probably.
did they think? Do they think the whole town is a country club and you could just have recreational vehicles everywhere, drive on sidewalks, drive on streets, drive? And
Have
then
you
the golf
noticed?
carts have those seatbelts. They got the kids in there. It's
Do they
waiting to
have
be
a
an
license
accident.
plate on the golf cart?
Oh, I called the police, my friend, and I said, let me ask you, as they say in our hometown in Brooklyn, what are the rules on golf carts? Apparently, wherever you can drive a car, you can drive a golf cart.
But you
And
need a license plate.
I said, I don't see cars driving on my sidewalk. Okay. So apparently that rule is not in effect, but there's no seatbelts. And if you're old enough to drive, you're old enough to drive a golf cart. And they're everywhere, everywhere.
Yeah, in the community I used to live in, because we moved, as you can tell, new studio.
You got new plaques. Look at you.
Yeah. Well, they're not new plaques, it's just arranged differently. But the community, you could have a golf cart because there was a golf course there.
Sure.
You couldn't, but I could drive the community streets, but I didn't have a plate on it, so I couldn't take it out of the community. Plus, it wasn't really
from State Road 70. They're in shopping malls. So
Yeah.
what goes through your head? Let's not take the Durango. Let's take the golf cart. And the way people drive, and they make fun of Florida drivers, and everyone in Florida says that's because we got everybody from all the different states down here. But the point is, on perfectly sunny days, there are accidents all over the place because that could be anywhere. They're texting, they're putting makeup on, they're talking, no one's paying attention. And I'm saying, if somebody hits one of these golf carts, you're done. No
Oh, yeah.
seatbelts.
Yeah, there's no
And
seatbelts in those.
I got another one for you. Here's one more I don't understand. Let's spend $70,000, $80,000 on a Jeep and then take the doors off. What's that
Oh,
about?
I like that look though. That's
Why?
cool. I don't
Why'd
know.
you
It's
take
just
the fucking roof off too while you're at it?
it's
Why?
probably, you know why they do it?
Why?
It started when you would see the Jeep commercials and they're doing off-road and they're going over rocks and up hills and they would take the doors off because you're outdoors off-roading and then people, "Oh, look, I can do that on I-75. What the hell? If you don't
So the
mind all
rock
that
could hit you
breeze
in the
blowing
head
through."
easier with the doors off? Is that it?
Yeah. Well, look at
I don't.
motorcyclists down here. You don't even need, I don't think you need to wear a helmet
Ah,
there.
no. And at first, Marianne thought maybe because it's so hot they don't do it. No, but I just think they don't care. We have
It
our
can't
rights
be
down
they
here.
can't. But down, the other thing about riding motorcycles, I don't know why anybody wouldn't. I know why people wear the leather because if you're going to hit the road, the
It
leather
hurts.
will, well, you'll still get hurt, but the leather will take a lot of the damage. These guys are riding down with nothing.
It's
Shirt sleeves or t-shirts. You hit that concrete, that's it. That's going to be a hell of a road rash, my friend. Hell of a road rash.
well, when we were in Los Angeles, we were in the elevator of a hotel and there had been an accident in front of the hotel and it was a motorcycle. And the guy next to me in the elevator, he was an ER surgeon and he said those are the worst accidents. And sadly, our family, we had my wife's
Yeah,
cousin's husband died in a
right.
motorcycle accident. And he was an editor of motorcycle.com, all about safety. And ironically, sadly, which it's still in the court system now with what's going on there, but I won't comment further, but that's just a tragedy. It's scary.
Have you seen any of those vehicles that look like mini Batmobiles, like it's two wheels in the front and just one
Oh
wheel in
yeah,
the
they got
back?
those too. Did I put that on
Yeah.
my list? I gotta hit one of those too.
They're all over. And yesterday when we were at the Verizon store, there was a couple parked in the parking lot and the heavens opened up. And I'm like,
Oh,
well, but there
there you
there
go.
is no roof. They got to be made. Those seats got to be made to get
They're
wet. There's no way
waterproof.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it just what a hard. I mean, I always think about that. If people are in a motorcycle or an open air car like that, and it downpours, and we get torrential
Down
downpours here in
here.
Florida.
Well,
So it could be a bad day for you if you're driving around and get caught in one of those thunderstorms.
Well, a long time ago, when I was going through my midlife crisis, I had a convertible. And in New York, it makes no sense because when you drop the top of the summer, the sun beats on your head like an egg. You want to die. And then in the winter, because it was a rag top, it was freezing. The wind ripped
Yeah,
right through that.
yeah.
And I was driving once and started raining. So you have to pull over and you got to press the button because it was automatic and you're waiting. Rain's coming, you're waiting.
Yeah, it's going super slow. By
It
now you're
was like
drenched.
unbelievable. So I learned never to have a convertible in New York. You might want to write these rules
Let me,
down.
let me
Don't take
ask
the
you.
doors off a Jeep. Yeah,
Let,
I got a bunch of things you don't need to do.
let me ask you, and that's with the S in there, not like they do in Brooklyn.
X.
Do you remember the scene in Risky Business when his dad's Porsche goes into the water and they take it to the car
Right.
repair place, and the
Right.
guy comes out and says, "Okay, who's the U-boat captain?" Because they open the door and
And
the
all the
fish
water's there.
comes out,
Yeah,
and
that's
yeah,
funny. But that's as funny as the Ferris Bueller thing when they're putting the miles back on the car. They're putting it in reverse. That was one of the
yeah,
funniest movies, Ferris Bueller. That was
yeah.
great.
That's a great movie.
But you're speaking about risky business, and our boy Tom Cruise will be on our show soon.
Oh,
Not
that'll be great.
Yeah, not that Tom Cruise. I found a neighbor down the block. His name is Tom
Oh,
Cruise.
okay.
He's going to join us. It's funny because I knew a guy in the business. His name was Michael Jackson. And I always wondered, wherever he went, did people say, yeah, sure, your name's Michael Jackson?
Did you see that? I want to see the new Mission Impossible,
Right? Tom Cruise.
Final Reckoning, and theater lots that I passed over the weekend look really crowded. I don't like going the first
Good.
weekend, but Tom Cruise back doing Ethan Hunt, the final episode, supposedly Final Reckoning, until someone throws more money and another script
And
at
then I'll
him.
have another reckoning.
But did you ever hear that story Matt Damon tells about Tom Cruise with the stunts?
Well, he does all of them,
He
right?
gets into it. He goes like, and so I got this idea and I want to do this. So I get the safety guy over and I said, I'm going to do this and I want to do this and we're going to do it this way and this way. And the safety guy goes, no, you can't do that. So I got a new safety guy. So it's like Tom just does what Tom
Wow.
wants to do.
I give him credit
And
for crazy stuff.
Steven Spielberg, I heard, gave him a lot of credit for saving Hollywood and insisting Maverick, when they did that a few years ago during the pandemic, insisting that had to be in theaters. They waited to put it in theaters so people could go back and be together during, in a enclosed space because the pandemic was winding
Right.
down. And they postponed it a year. It was supposed to come out a year earlier. And he postponed it because he insisted that it be in the big screen and
Yeah,
not
he's
just
pretty
straight
good
into
that way.
home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
And he
I
keeps a
mean,
lot of people employed. So,
yeah, he keeps a lot of people employed. He's made a lot of money for a lot of studios and
yeah.
he's done a lot of good stuff. So I
Yep.
guess Scientology pays off.
I guess so.
He must be
Guess
doing
so.
something with that. I don't get it, but I mean, he's from down here too. He's got a place over in Clearwater, which I thought was closer to you, but it's actually
Closer to you.
Scientology Village over there, and he's got a penthouse apartment over there that I guess when he visits the church or whatever it is that he shows up. And I sent you the clip. We're at the hockey game at the Emily Arena, and he was there, and the place was
No,
cheering for him. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
that's cool.
Yeah, so I guess he does make local visits. And they said when his mother was alive, he was down toward you.
Oh, down here in
Yeah,
Naples?
right. And there's a
Yeah.
small airport down there. He used to fly in and out of.
Well, there's the Naples airport, which is a lot of private jets come in and
Well,
out of
that
there.
must be where he was because when she lived down there, I guess they said he visited quite a bit down there.
Yeah,
He'd be
interesting.
an interesting guy. I got a lot of questions for him too.
Got a lot of questions. Well, I hope that you go after the Jennifer Grey dance panties or shorts. Make a bid.
Oh, wait, did I tell you
And
about Italy when I had to go there for the conclave and that whole thing?
no,
Oh, we're in the room for 2 days and he's got the Cardinals are nothing but gentes and gossiping. Thank God they put the American in because I thought I had a shot being an American, but apparently, Jim, and I found that when I got there,
yeah,
you can't be married and you can't have had kids. Although some of them did have kids, but a lot of politics in that. But
yeah.
I had a shot. It wasn't American, but thank God we got out of there because how much red can you wear? I mean, it was so annoying after a while.
I did hear that Archbishop Dolan from New York, who I met at Sirius XM once, great guy, very nice
Right.
guy. He
How
was in the
close
running
was he? You
too.
think he had a shot? He had a shot?
I heard his name was being discussed. I don't know if it was
Wow.
ever Sirius as the guy that's currently there.
Well, I thought it was a nice touch when he came out smoking a cigarette. I thought that signaled Chicago. We're not going to take any crap.
But his brother, actually, one of his brothers lives down here by me because they had him on the local news. Wink News
Right,
had
all
him
the
on.
cameras everywhere. Yeah.
So
Crazy.
who knows? Maybe the first papal visit will include a stop in Naples, Fort Myers.
I think if we're going to go for Tom Cruise, let's go for the Pope. We can
Why
get him on
not?
there. He speaks what we speak. I hope he
That's
doesn't
true.
say anyways. I hope he doesn't say anyways. I got to go, guys.
Send a note to the Vatican, please.
I don't know, but you know what? If
You
they're
ever
not
been there?
Italian,
It's really cool.
no, I'm not as worldly as you. But that being said, it doesn't feel like a Pope unless he has an accent. You know what I mean?
A Chicago accent.
Yeah, it's not the same.
The
He should have
Bears.
Italian
Oh, we missed talking about George Wendt.
Yeah, I heard he was a nice guy, and didn't hear anything bad about him.
Yeah, man, George
health.
Wendt, Norm passing at the age of 79, I think it was.
That's pretty young.
Evening, everybody.
Norman?
That was a good
Yeah,
show.
great TV show. I love all the episodes. I still watch them in reruns if I can find them. And what other big movie in the 1980s was he a part of?
I have no idea.
Great comedy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No.
Fletch.
Oh, with Chevy Chase, who's not
Yeah.
a nice guy.
Yeah, but he played the guy. He played one of the drug addicts that lived on the beach.
Well, so you
Who
think
was helping because the whole storyline, the police, the mayor, and the police commissioner.
God, you remember
were pushing
Fletch?
drugs. Yeah.
I was working in the movie theater when that was out, so I don't remember even watching the whole thing.
Oh, it's a good movie.
I hope I didn't piss off Chevy Chase by saying he's not a nice guy. No, he's not going to do our thing.
Tim Matheson was in that movie. He played the bad guy, and who else? Oh, well, besides George Wendt, obviously Chevy Chase, a few other people.
Well,
But yeah, Norma's great. It was a
He
great
seemed like a nice guy.
character. It was a great show, and sad to see. But he also did that skit on SNL, The Bears. He was
Yeah,
part of that
that's
whole
right. He
The
did that
Bears
for a while.
thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's funny because at one point when we were thinking, or at least I was thinking I was going to move to California, we were looking at houses. And one
Why
of the
were you thinking of that?
I know you're so against California. I understand. So I think the realtor took me to look at one of these houses, which of course I'm talking big, like I have this kind of money. I don't know what I was telling them, but they showed us the house of the mailman from Cheers. What's his name? Cliff?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, John Ratzenberger.
Yeah, his house was for sale. And I gotta tell you, it was a little bit of a, he could have cleaned it up a little bit nicer if they were
What
showing
year
it.
was this? You were thinking of
Oh
moving to
gosh.
Cali?
Maybe I was at Capitol. I don't remember.
Oh, you were going to move the kids, everybody, huh?
Yeah, well, I don't think I could have just left them
Oof.
here and not given them a forwarding address, but well, that might have been a good idea. But yeah, I think and, and the other place we were looking at, because people tell us areas and neighborhoods, and if you don't really know, then, back then the houses were like $1 million. And I think
Yeah,
we
which
were,
was a lot then. Yeah.
we were looking at maybe 400,000 was over our heads, right? And they always say, no, come take a look at it. Come take a look at it. So we took a look, and one of the places they were looking at, they said this up and coming actor named The Rock was looking at it. I guess he took
Oh,
off. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's probably his guest house now.
Yep. He's probably, his maid is living in that house now. Okay.
Yeah. Two guys and a
Unbelievable.
mic. It's Jim Ryan along with Mark Rizzo, just catching up. Our first show, together for a while because Mark was off the last time and we had a special guest sitting in. But good stuff today.
Yeah, well, I
Anything
got a
else
lot of
on
good
your hit
topics.
list? Anything else that's really peeving you off?
No, well, I think I covered most of the things over the last couple of weeks, and
Are you happy where the
stuff that
Mets are
bothers
right
me.
now?
Yeah, but as a Met fan, you're always expecting the worst. So it's just a matter, and everyone's yapping about Juan Soto, 700 million, hasn't hit the ball. We've got 15 years. He'll come around. He'll come around. It'll take a minute. Just give him some time.
Have we even talked since the NFL draft? We did a show after the NFL draft?
I don't know, but our friends who were associated with the Jaguars did well with that pick.
Yeah, they did. That kid's good.
I reached
The
out to
kid
them
from
because
Colorado.
I reached out to them because Jacksonville's playing the Jets in December, like a day before my birthday. And I was thinking, well, maybe I'd go to that game, but it's hard to sit in the booth with the Jacksonville
And root for
owners
the Jets.
and root for the
So why
Jets.
don't you just go see the Jets when they come to Tampa? Because I think they're
I
playing the
saw that
Bucks.
too, but I wouldn't
Yeah.
get free tickets to that. You know how much these tickets
Oh,
are?
I see. Oh,
They're
I
a lot of
know.
money.
It's crazy.
Football tickets are crazy.
You got to
Sporting
try and go
tickets are
on
crazy.
StubHub.
Well,
Offer up
yeah,
some
you
personal
have to do it.
services.
Have to do it at the last minute. So before we go, let me give you one more story. Speaking of
Yeah.
shows and tickets, so I've seen Billy Joel like 115 times, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Sad news about Billy.
and our friend,
Speedy recovery, please.
speaking of all other guests, our friend Lee Leipzner was always a good contact for me because he was in with them, and I was always able to buy a house pair of tickets for whatever Billy Joel show I wanted to go to. So I had seen the last one at Madison Square Garden. I went with Manny, and we had a great time. And then I saw he was playing all these stadiums for the summer, and I saw it was Yankee Stadium, Citi Field, and I don't know what they call the one in Giant Stadium. Is it called Giant Stadium anymore? Or
It's MetLife Stadium.
MetLife. Now, I didn't want to see Stevie Nicks with him. I didn't want to see Sting, who we said in our
Stevie
very-
Nicks is great. You don't like Stevie?
Yeah, I know. I'm not going to Jersey for Stevie Nicks.
Okay.
So, and the other one was Sting, and we spoke about my relationship with Sting, my early days at A&M. Wasn't interested in that, but Rod Stewart was one, as you know, that I've seen and met and had a couple of good conversations with. So he was going to be playing with Billy Joel at Yankee Stadium. As a Met fan, you don't really want to go to Yankee Stadium no matter what. But I figured, okay, I'll go. I told Lee we bought the tickets in January. Shows coming up in July. We're going up there in July. Happened to mention to Marianne, I said, don't forget when we go to New York in July, we've got Billy Joel and Rod Stewart. So she's thinking it's at Madison Square Garden. Thus is where the argument begins. I said, no, it's at Yankee Stadium. She says, I'm not going to Yankee Stadium.
I'm not going to the Bronx.
I'm not going to the Bronx. I'm not sitting outdoors with 63,000 other people in the heat
In the middle of July.
In July. So the words that came out of my mouth and the arguing and the yelling and the screaming. So then I started to take a consensus of my other friends. And I said, what's wrong with you? Why would you go to an outdoor stadium show? And of course your wife's not going to go. I wouldn't go. It's going to be a pain in the neck to get there. It's going to be a pain in the neck to get back. So I'm thinking, I don't know what I'm thinking. I guess I got excited, thought it'd be a great show. But as you get older, when we're not 23 or 33 anymore, the effort to get all the way up there into the stadium with 63,000 people, then trying to get back from the Bronx after, and everyone's going to be looking for Ubers and lifts, and I'm not getting on the train at
You're not doing the
11:30
D
at
train?
night.
You're not doing the D train? Come on, man.
So this obviously is now not going to happen because of what happened to Billy. But That
Yeah.
was what we were discussing. So I guess I wasn't, I didn't think all the way through
You didn't think it
because
through.
I
Didn't
mean,
plan it out right.
it sounded good on paper. Wow, we'll
Yeah.
go to the Bronx to see Billy Joel and Rod Stewart. I love Rod Stewart, blah, blah, blah. But it
I
would have
guess
been
you
a
thought
problem.
you'd probably drive.
I don't know. Drive. Where are you going to put the car? They'll charge you $75 for parking. Imagine getting out of there. No way. I remember going to a ball game up there with John Boulos when I was at Capitol. And I
Yeah.
think after the game, it took like 2 hours to get all the way back to Long Island. It was like ridiculous. I got
Wow.
home like at 1:30 or something.
Yeah.
Not worth
Well,
it.
it is a pain to go up there to the Bronx for
So
sure.
if you were obviously giving good thoughts, you think he'll ever play again?
You know, I don't know. I don't know the extent of what this. I know they announced kind of what it is, and I can't remember the exact affliction
It's
right now,
it's a
but it has.
basically accumulation of water in your brain, and they have to put a stent in there and drain it out. I'm thinking with the brain, man, even if they do that and it's successful, you're gonna need some rehab. It's gonna take a
Oh
while
yeah,
for that to get better.
yeah.
And then,
And how
is
old
it
is Billy
I
now?
was gonna say, is he 78 or he's gotta be up there?
He's definitely in his 70s.
Why push it, man? I don't know. But these guys this is what they live for.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
man. I'd say adios, perhaps. I don't know.
He's
It'd be a
got.
shame
He's
to
still.
us.
He is a young kid
He's
still
got
at
two
this
young
point.
girls,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't
Two young
know.
girls.
I mean, his health is the most important thing. I think he needs, if he bounces back and he feels like he can perform, he could, reschedule next year.
Well, I think they're
Um,
taking 2026 off, so the earliest
oh,
would
they
be
are.
2027. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
he's going to be pushing mid 70s by then, or if not older.
that's
But
a
then
lot of
again, how
rehab
old
time.
Elton John's almost 80, and I know the Stones they still perform, and they're approaching. I think Mick Jagger may be 80.
Yeah. Somebody said he tours with a cardiologist.
Well, I remember those guys saying years ago when they came back, because remember, I saw them, get this, I saw the Stones on the Steel Wheels tour in 1989 at Shea Stadium when they announced that was going to be their final tour, and they're still
Right.
doing this. So,
Wow.
they did an interview, and I think it was Mick. I don't think it was Keith who said it, but Mick said they asked him what the difference was between touring now and when he started, and he said back then we brought our drug dealers on the road. Now we bring our personal trainers on the road.
Yeah.
So, and he wasn't joking. I mean, they go through, and they try to stay as healthy as they possibly can, even though I believe Keith Richards still smokes. I don't know if anything can kill that guy.
Unbelievable.
But
I think if I was a rock star, I'd travel with a gynecologist for obvious reasons. I want to make sure I'm safe at all times.
yeah,
You're a rock star, you're having some fun, and I just want to make sure everything's on the up and up.
yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
before we go, can Puffy write a check big enough that Trump will Trump will release him from jail?
Man, everything you read about this, and now I'm hearing other celebrities are all desperately trying to lawyer up so they don't get called to
Oh,
testify in this thing. But it doesn't sound good. It does
he,
not
I
sound
mean,
good.
I saw a special where about that shooting in the nightclub, and he was there with J Lo, and it wasn't his
Yeah,
gun. He blamed it on the other guy, and J Lo got off the hook. They didn't question her. I'm sure she knew what
yeah.
was going down, but somebody made a lot of money off of that. But this dude's going to be in for the long run, man. And I
It's
told
too.
you, I remember him from Arista when he had Bad Boy Records. He was a young executive who they thought walked on water because
Yeah,
he brought music and hits and a whole different attitude to Arista, and we had the side deal with him. And I mean, there were no freak offs that I was invited to back then, but
didn't get
what
to go to the white parties.
1,000 bottles of Vaseline, right? Was it Vaseline or
Something like, yeah, something like that.
oh my
So,
word. But I
two
mean,
guys and a mic, and we're talking about P. Diddy, and that's going on in the rest of the music world lawyering up, as they say, to try to prevent having to get called to testify. But I don't know which way it's going to go. I do know there's the controversy, the whole thing you heard about Smokey Robinson and the accusations against him, and now you got
well,
P.
first
Diddy,
of
and
all, he
then
had he had very bad facelift, so he should be arrested for that, number one.
all right, but
Terrible.
that still doesn't put you in jail. What he's been accused of could put him in jail for
Oh
sexual
my
harassment
word.
and rape. But I know there's that whole argument. Well, should we stop playing his music? When I did 80s on 8 at Sirius, I can't tell you that there was numerous amounts of people that would send emails in about why are you
Michael
still
Jackson.
playing Michael Jackson? Why? And he was never
Ridiculous.
convicted. All
Never.
right, whether you think he did it or he didn't do it, they never proved in a court of law that he did. So why, R. Kelly is a whole different ballgame. Okay, R.
Oof,
Kelly
I
was
forgot about
convicted.
him. Yep.
Okay, so we did end up pulling his music from the stations but it's an accusation right now against Smokey Robinson. If it
Aye, aye,
becomes
aye.
like what happened with Bill Cosby, then you can say, okay, you know what? We're not going to play Smokey Robinson music. But until then, he's innocent until he's proven guilty. And it's the same thing for Diddy. Until they prove him guilty, don't pull his music.
Well, I
For
mean, not only is he being for abuse but the guns. I mean, that's a
right,
problem too with the
yeah,
guns. And
yeah.
I mean,
But
I
he
don't
still
know.
hasn't been proven guilty yet. We all
Right.
think he is, but we're not sitting in that courtroom listening to testimony. We're not the ones that are going to make the decision of what
Wow.
happened.
But
And
I mean, I just
so,
feel bad for that girl. He beat the
yeah,
hell out of her,
I
man.
do. And that's
Oof.
on video, and that's not saying, but I don't know if that's enough. Maybe it's enough
Well,
in some circles to pull his music, and I can't argue if you do or not play it. Um, my whole thing is, unless they're proven guilty in a court of law,
yeah, right.
you probably shouldn't do that because there's just as many people that like the music and they haven't been found guilty of something. Unfortunately, sometimes in this country, we start, casting judgment and saying, well, look at, we can't name the school George Washington Elementary because George Washington owned slaves.
Thomas
Yes, he
Jefferson.
did.
How
He
many did
did it.
Thomas Jefferson knock up? He
I,
knocked up quite a few of them, didn't he?
He did, and unfortunately, at that time, a lot of people owned slaves. And I bet you, if you could speak to George Washington or Thomas Jefferson today, they would say that was completely wrong. It never should have happened. I'm sorry it ever happened. They wouldn't be, defiant in the whole thing.
It's
So
crazy. I don't know. It's
you
just
can't go back and rewrite history, as they say. That's what I'm saying. That's the point.
well, Marianne had asked if he gets convicted and goes to jail, you think somebody will kill him in jail?
Uh, no, I don't know. If he was a child molester, I'd say yes,
Well, that's
for
what happens.
sure.
Yeah. Right, right. They get you.
A fellow radio guy just got that, Andy Bloom. You know Andy?
I know the name. I just read that. It
Yeah.
was his own daughter or something?
Yeah, it's really bad. Rob knew him well because they worked for the same company in Minnesota. They didn't work together, but they worked for the same
So
company.
what happened? He was abusing his own daughter?
Supposedly, he was abusing his own stepdaughter.
Ay, 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 ay.
And then they had a trial, and he went to trial, and he lost, and he's going to prison for 10 years or something.
Wait, let me cross his name off our guest list.
Yes, please
No,
do.
Andy Bloom. And I'm going to retract the invitation to Puffy. We don't need that kind of
No,
press, Jim.
we don't need that.
Crossing him off. So we're still open with Tom Cruise. We still got a shot there.
Yeah.
Travolta hasn't gotten back to me yet. But in seriousness, I did tell you a couple of people that we're actively pursuing that will get our subscribers up to at least 260 now. So if that comes down, that'll be good.
You just got to keep doing it.
Gotta
People
keep
will
trying.
follow. This
Yeah.
witty banter back and forth. This was a good show. We had a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of
So,
good stuff. I gave you
yeah.
a lot of jewels that people will be hysterical over, and we'll get a lot of likes. But hopefully we'll get a couple going next couple. Oh, speaking of our guest, you were talking about Smokey, and Dave Sholin had told me he recently saw Smokey about a week ago at a
Yeah,
show. I said,
he
how'd
did.
that conversation backstage go? Smokey, what's new? Well, I
lot
can
of
tell you
things.
what's new. But wait, before we go, I mean, what's he being accused of? Abusing the people who worked for him?
I think, yeah, sexual harassment. Yeah.
So if you're a maid cleaning his house and they were claiming that they weren't making that much money, I'm not saying it was right or wrong, but if you're not making that much money and you're being abused, why keep the job? You can't get another job if you're not making that much money?
Yeah, I don't know the circumstances and the insides and out. I mean, there's a lot of reasons people, don't
Sad.
move to a different job.
Scared. They could be
You think they
scared.
would? Scared? Yeah.
Power.
If I lose this job, I might not find something, so
I'll
you
be
never know.
blacklisted or whatever.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Two guys and a mic. Please like and follow us and subscribe. The subscribe is free. You'll find us on YouTube or wherever you get your favorite podcast, from Spotify to Stitcher to Amazon. We are there.
To
on all of
OnlyFans
those.
too. OnlyFans. Can I
Oh,
play
we have
that?
an OnlyFans?
Well, I mean, I do.
You do? Okay. Well,
I
we'll
got-
put a
I got
link
great-
up for your OnlyFans.
I got great toes, Jim. Great toes. It's paying the mortgage, my friend.
Two guys and a mic. Thank you, and we'll see you again hopefully next week.
Anyways,